ChatGPT or one of its free alternatives? Which one should you actually be using right now? I ran a scoreboard across 6 real tools and every major use case, and what got me is that the free options don't just match ChatGPT on some tests, a couple of them beat it at its own game. ChatGPT is the generalist you already know, but Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot, Grok, and Notebook LM each do one job better, so the real question is, which one matches the work you actually do? Alright, so, Alternative 1. Claude, Coding and Long-Form Prose. You're 3 hours into a complex document, ChatGPT keeps losing the thread, and you're re-explaining context you already covered twice. That's a tool problem, not a workflow problem. Claude's Artifacts and Projects workspace is specifically built for structured, long documents, and its coding scores on real benchmarks put it right in the conversation too. I checked the coding benchmarks, and ChatGPT's GPT-5 hits 74.9% on SWE Bench Verified, with thinking on, solid, but community reported and not independently verified. I couldn't find a published Claude figure to put next to it, but the hands-on consensus is pretty clear. For long document prose in the Artifacts and Projects workspace, Claude is the preferred pick, and that's where most real writing work actually lives. Now, the coding numbers are close enough that if you're doing pure code generation, ChatGPT is a totally reasonable choice. The gap opens up the moment your work is structured and long. Multiple documents, iterative drafts, a project that needs memory across sessions. That's where Claude's workspace pulls away, and honestly, that covers the majority of real knowledge work. I expected ChatGPT's coding scores to carry this one, but the long doc prose and workspace advantage is what actually moves the needle for most users, so Claude takes it. That puts the alternatives at 1, ChatGPT at 0, and Claude is the first strong pick on the board. I've burned enough hours switching between these tools on real projects to know exactly where each one cracks under pressure, so drop a comment if the long context thing has wrecked a session for you too. Okay, so, Alternative 2. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Gemini, Google ecosystem. You're already living in Gmail, Google Docs, and Drive all day, and every time you want AI help on a document, you're copying text out of Docs and pasting it into ChatGPT, then copying the answer back. That's a friction tax on every single task, and Gemini is the obvious candidate to eliminate it. When I checked the numbers, ChatGPT's GPT-5 Pro scores 89.4% on GPQA Diamond Reasoning, ahead of Gemini 2.5 Pro on community-reported figures, so ChatGPT is the stronger raw reasoner. But Gemini's native integration across Gmail, Docs, Drive, and Android is something ChatGPT literally can't match without third-party connectors. And for a Google Stack user, that integration gap is way bigger than a few benchmark points. ChatGPT does win on raw reasoning benchmarks and on modality breadth: text, images, files, voice, all in one place. Those wins only matter if you're not a Google Stack user, though. If your workday runs through Gmail and Docs, Gemini is a completely different class of tool because the AI is already sitting inside the documents you're working on. Gemini takes this one because native Gmail and Docs integration is a real workflow win that ChatGPT can't replicate without workarounds, and that matters way more than benchmark points for a Google Stack user. That's 2 for the alternatives now, 0 for ChatGPT, and the pattern is starting to look pretty one-sided. Now, Alternative 3. Perplexity, fact-checked search. You asked ChatGPT a research question, got a confident answer, used it in a report, and then found out later it was wrong and unsourced. That's not a rare edge case, that's a known pattern with general assistance. Perplexity is built from the ground up as an answer engine, where every response comes with citations you can actually check. The G2 ratings look close on the surface, ChatGPT at 4.7 out of 5, Perplexity at 4.5, but that's overall satisfaction across all use cases. The part that actually matters is that Perplexity's search-first design means cited. Fact-based answers are the default, not a feature you have to turn on, and ChatGPT's browsing feels bolted on by comparison. ChatGPT's higher G2 rating is real, and for general creative or conversational tasks, it's the stronger all-rounder. Perplexity isn't trying to win that race, though. It's purpose-built for one job: give you a factual, sourced answer fast. On that specific job, ChatGPT's search is a feature while Perplexity's search is the entire product, and that design difference shows up every single time. I didn't expect Perplexity to beat ChatGPT this cleanly on research tasks, given the G2 gap, but cited answers as the default experience is a genuinely different product, so Perplexity takes it. That's 3 for the alternatives, still 0 for ChatGPT, and we're halfway through. So, alternative 4, Copilot, Microsoft 365. Your whole team works in Outlook and Teams, and you're paying a separate monthly fee for ChatGPT Plus on top of your Microsoft 365 subscription just to get AI help on emails and spreadsheets. That's a double spend because Copilot is an add-on that sits directly inside Outlook, Teams, Word, and Excel, grounded in your actual company data. On the pricing side, ChatGPT Plus runs $20 a month and works across any tool you connect it to, while Microsoft 365 Copilot is an add-on reported around $30 per user per month, so it's pricier. But Copilot is grounded in your tenant, meaning it reads your actual Outlook threads and Teams history, which is something ChatGPT Enterprise can't do natively without partner integrations. Copilot takes this one for Microsoft 365 organizations, because being grounded in your actual tenant data is a capability ChatGPT simply doesn't replicate without workarounds. 4 for the alternatives, 0 for ChatGPT, and the score is getting hard to ignore. So far, every alternative has beaten ChatGPT on its own turf, but the last 2 tests are the ones that could genuinely flip the decision for a specific type of user. Real-time data from X and source-grounded research are both coming up, and one of them is a much more niche use case than it sounds. Okay, alternative 5, Grok, real-time X data. You follow a fast-moving news story or a trending conversation on X, and you want AI to help you make sense of what's happening right now, not what happened 3 months ago when the training data was cut off. ChatGPT's web browsing is general, but Grok has direct access to the X fire hose, which is a fundamentally different kind of real-time. I checked the reasoning benchmarks, and ChatGPT's GPT-5 Pro is ahead of Grok 4 on community-reported GPQA diamond numbers, so raw reasoning goes to ChatGPT. Where Grok pulls away is the X firehose and its unfiltered personality, things ChatGPT's general web browsing genuinely can't replicate, though Grok's access is historically tied to X premium tiers, so the path to get there is narrower. ChatGPT is the easier and more broadly available tool, no X premium required, and on pure reasoning, it's ahead of Grok. But this test is about real-time X data, and on that specific job, Grok's native firehose access is something ChatGPT can't replicate, with general web search, so if you live on X, Grok is the pick, full stop. Grok takes this one on real-time X data and personality, even though ChatGPT leads on raw reasoning benchmarks. That's 5 alternatives, 0 ChatGPT, and we've got 1 test left. And alternative 6, Notebook LM, source-grounded research. You've got a stack of PDFs, research papers, or internal docs, and you need to actually understand what's in them without reading every page. ChatGPT can handle file uploads, but it's a general assistant, not a purpose-built research tool. Notebook LM is designed specifically to stay inside your uploaded sources and never wander outside them. The part that actually got me here is Notebook LM's audio overviews feature. You upload your sources and it generates a podcast-style 2-host discussion of your entire corpus, and nothing else does this. ChatGPT's advanced voice is a completely different thing. Notebook LM also sticks strictly to your uploaded sources, so you're not getting answers pulled from outside your documents, which is exactly what research-grade work needs. Notebook LM takes the final test on source-grounded research, and that audio overviews feature is genuinely in a category of its own. 6 alternatives, 0 ChatGPT, across every single dimension we tested, and that's the full scoreboard. So why do people leave ChatGPT? Long conversations lose context, and you end up re-explaining things you already covered. The Plus plan price stings when free alternatives match the capability for your actual use case. And hallucinations on factual queries are a real problem when you're comparing it to search-native tools like Perplexity that cite every answer. To be fair, ChatGPT still wins in a few real situations. Its ecosystem breadth, web search, image generation, file uploads, voice, and custom GPTs all in one place is unmatched by any single alternative. For general everyday tasks across many different types of work, ChatGPT's polish and reliability beat a specialist tool, and its GPT-5 Pro leads community-reported reasoning benchmarks at 89.4% on GPQA Diamond. If you're leaving ChatGPT and need one default replacement, Claude is the pick. It covers the broadest set of real work and directly fixes ChatGPT's weakest spot on long structured tasks. But if you live in Google's stack, go Gemini. If you need cited research answers, go Perplexity. And if you're a Microsoft 365 org, Copilot is already inside your tools. One thing the pricing page doesn't make obvious, ChatGPT's free tier has daily message limits that kick in faster than most people expect, and the Plus plan only makes financial sense if you're hitting those limits regularly. If you're a casual user, the free tiers on Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity give you more headroom than the ChatGPT free tier before the wall hits. If you're a developer and the GitHub Copilot question is still open for you, I ranked the best GitHub Copilot alternatives for developers, and the results are pretty different from what most people expect, so that one's worth checking out next.